Let's remain standing and repeat our Sunday morning covenant together. Love is the spirit of our people, and service is our call to build the beloved community, to seek fuller truths in love, to dwell together in peace, to offer aid and affirmation, and to tend to our mutual well-being. This is our covenant. Greetings. Welcome, everyone. My name is Shari Gilbert, and I'm your worship associate today. I use she, her pronouns. Welcome to All Souls Church Unitarian in our nation's capital, where all people are welcome at this table of love and fellowship. If you're visiting us for the first time, we're glad you're here. I invite you to visit our welcome table in Pierce Hall, which is out the door to your right, after the service to meet some friendly folks and receive a gift. We'd like to extend a special welcome to the coming of age youth from Fairfax UU. Welcome. This is my season. Fall is my season. Although I'm not a PSL fan. PSL, anyone? Pumpkin spice latte, not my thing. I love almost everything else about fall. I love Halloween, and it really kicks off the season for me. My partner and I dress up and trick-or-treat with his grandkids, and then we go to a party where friends our own age decorate their house like a pirate ship and pass out dark and stormies all night. Arr. My birthday is 6 days after Halloween, and I'm never shy about making the most of it and heralding my darn self. After my birthday, things slide into Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas, another one of my favorite holidays. I'll say, though, because Christmas trees and decorations are often up way before Halloween, on behalf of many people, I apologize to my Jewish partner, how Christmas seems to take over everything, but I digress. Still, there are things that detract from my fall into winter joy, and I'll talk about those in a bit. The connection card, which I don't have. Thank you. I draw your attention to this week's connection card. This is more than just a form. It's an invitation. If you're looking for ways to get involved, seeking support, or just want to stay in touch, fill it out and drop it in the collection plate during the offering. If you're a visitor and want to receive the aforementioned gift, you'll need to include your mailing address. I draw your attention to this week's reflection question. How might you draw strength from our tradition? Think about that. As I mentioned, there are some obvious detractions from this holiday season. The original Thanksgiving was not the now debunked version of Pilgrims and Native Americans happily sharing the bounty of the season. We acknowledge that this church and that every table across the country around which friends and families will share a gastro extravaganza of a meal, all those tables are placed on lands stolen from the Native Americans, so gaily depicted in those Thanksgiving scenes of yore. Many of those lands were cleared by the hands of slaves, inhumanely taken from their countries, and ruthlessly forced to live and labor for the benefit of early US Americans. We lament these deplorable injustices. And since 1999, the Trans Day of Remembrance has been observed on November 20th. This day is a somber recognition of those transgender folks who have been murdered as a result of transphobia. Every year, I thank the universe that my trans son and my trans femme non-binary child are safe this year. But rest with certainty that regardless of your season of choice, regardless of your religious or secular holidays, regardless of your country of origin or your gender identity, sexual orientation, your ability or disability, race, political affiliation, or age, you are welcome here at All Souls Church Unitarian. You are welcome at the All Souls table, where we serve a menu of inclusivity and justice for all, a spiritual home where we support one another, where we bring our whole and authentic selves, and where we celebrate the cornucopia of differences that still pulls us into one family of Unitarian Universalists. We are so thankful that you're here to worship and celebrate with us today. Now is our time to greet one another. If you're on Zoom, we invite you to go to the gallery view and turn on your video. And if you're here in the sanctuary, feel free to get up and move around as you're comfortable. When you hear the bells toll, please return to your pews.
Good morning. My name is Shirley Blakely. Good morning. I invite you to take a look at quilt number 2, which is the quilt to my right, the second quilt in the panel there. You might look at it and consider that it is rather subdued and understated compared to the other quilts hanging, but it is by no means less powerful. It has strength and depth that makes it perhaps the main load bearer of all of the quilts that we have presented. The concept of quilt number 2 was born in September 1999 when congregants were invited to participate in making this quilt in 2 ways. They were asked first to write inspirational messages on sticky notes and put them in the collection plate as the plate passed around. Secondly, they were asked to donate fabrics that were special to them to be sewn into this quilt. For both of these requests, we received a gigantic response. 95 messages are written on this quilt. We received a large amount of fabrics as well. 24 congregants volunteered to work on this quilt. The theme of the quilt is weaving the fabrics of our lives into the community. This was offered by Paula Cole Jones. There are some notable donations for quilt number 2. One of them includes a donation by Dr. Esai Barnwell, who donated quilting threads that were left to her by her late aunt Matilda. Also, Christiane Giesler donated fabric from her nurse's uniform, which her mother made into baby pants when her son was born, and she gave it to us so it could be woven into this quilt. There are many other interesting stories about the fabrics donated for this quilt. And then there are many messages written on the back of the quilt, inspirational messages. I will just read one of them, and it says, "I love this church. May it continue to be an inspiration to all." And we loved that quote when we first saw it, so that one I will just read. "We finished the quilt in the spring of 2000. We dedicated it to All Souls Church shortly thereafter. We then put it up for auction at the All Souls auction. And Jeff Sherwood, who I think is in the sanctuary this morning, raise your hand, Jeff. He was the winning bidder. So he took the quilt. He took the quilt home. It resided in Jeff's house for quite a while, and then he decided to return it to All Souls so it could be among the collection of quilts that we have at All Souls. And Kathy Shahan quickly embroidered Jeff's name on the front of the quilt. So if you look closely at the quilt, you will see Jeff's name there. So it really belongs to Jeff, but he's letting us use it. Finally, this quilt has been used for comfort and healing. It was loaned to a congregant when she received a scary diagnosis. It was loaned to her in her time of healing. She kept the quilt for a while and she recovered, and later when she returned the quilt, she reported that wrapping herself in the quilt was comforting and helpful in her recovery. So quilt number 2 features the fabrics from the congregants at All Souls. It features their stories about the fabrics, and it has inspirational messages. It fetched a good price at the All Souls auction, and it served as a healing quilt for a congregant in need. Therefore, because of all of these things, it's considered the main load bearer among all of the All Souls quilts. Now, there is no booklet written about this quilt, but we will fix that. We will take our writings and take the writings on the back of the quilt and the stories that we can gather and put them in the church's archives so that there can be a written record for quilt number 2. Thank you.
Greetings all, it is our time for all ages now, so I welcome any children to come up and have a seat here with me. Come on up on our carpet. And as you're coming up, I will say that one of the things that I really like about our Unitarian Universalist religion, and I expect that many others here like as well, is that we recognize that there's a lot of smart, kind, wise people out there who are not us. And that we can benefit from the wisdom of other people and other cultures. And so today I want to bring in a word and a concept from the Zulu tradition. The Zulu are an amazing people on a continent of Africa, and they have a word and a concept that I want to talk about a little bit today. It is Sawubona. You say that? Sawubona. And what it very literally translates to is I see you. And I've known about this word for a long time, but one of my colleagues on the Washington Interfaith Network strategy team, which is a multi-faith group of people working for justice, led a little reflection on it. And he said that although it translates just literally to I see you, it really means that you are appreciating someone or aware of someone in a way that goes far beyond the eyes. That you're really recognizing a person's joys and sorrows, their strengths, their weaknesses. So it's a much deeper way of connecting with someone. All right, I want you to think about the name of a friend of yours, real quick. Okay, think the name of a friend of yours. It doesn't need to be your best friend, it can just be any friend. And imagine that you see your friend sometime and you say, hey, and their name. So go ahead and say hey and their name. Hey, John. And instead of responding, hi, they respond, hi. So you get the sense that maybe something isn't quite right with them. And if we're moving really fast, we might just say like, they're having a bad day, whatever, and move on and go do something else. But if we are practicing Sawubona, you recognize, oh, they sound sad, or they sound like they need a little attention or company. So instead of just moving along and doing whatever you are going to do, you stop and you say, hey, so what's their name? Say their name again. Hey. Are you okay? How's it going? Because you're not just paying attention to like their physical body that is taking up space. You're paying attention to who they are and what's going on with them. And the good news is the more we practice that with other people and put it into the world, the more other people practice it with us. So that when we're having a bad day, when we're struggling with something, someone else, rather than just walking on, might stop and spend some time with us and ask us how we're doing. But let's not wait around for that, okay? Because we can start practicing it now, regardless of what other people are doing. And this place, All Souls Church, is a great place to practice it. So if you are talking to a friend or a classmate later and they say something or do something that suggests that maybe they're not doing okay, that they're not happy, stop and talk to them about it and ask them about it. Because care for each other is one of the most important things that we can do for any other person. Okay? Does that make sense? Well, I care about you, and I care that you spent a little bit of time with me. Thank you. And I invite you now to head back to your parents if you're staying with them, or to head out to our religious education classes with Miss Mary over there. And let's all sing them out. Thank you all. Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Tracy Hughes. I have the, good morning. I serve as the executive director of this fine place, and this morning I have the pleasure of being your liturgist. So before I get into the announcements, I want you to please join me in welcoming Alma Costello, our new pianist. Alma, please say hello. Alma, that's how we do things around here. That's how we welcome folks. Alma is a native Washingtonian and a graduate of the Catholic University of America, where she studied piano performance and piano instruction. She was a member of the faculty at Duke Ellington School of the Arts for 18 years. Yes. As a piano accompanist, vocal coach, and teacher of piano, organ, and music theory. Welcome, Alma. Welcome. We have another celebration. So Nathia Lee, is Nathia Lee here in the sanctuary? Nathia is our volunteer of the month. Woo! Nathia is the warm welcome to all of our visitors and congregants as a volunteer on our hospitality and front desk team. Congratulations, Nathia. I cannot believe that I'm saying this, but Thanksgiving is almost here. Our annual Thanksgiving food drive formally starts on Friday, November 21st. Your donations will benefit our partner organizations, Beacon House, Columbia Heights Village Tenant Association, and La Clinica de Pueblo. Each will receive between 70 to 100 bags of food to share with local families. Everyone, this is one of All Souls' most meaningful social justice traditions. If you can bear buying a little bit extra food, please do. For more information on how to donate, check out the e-newsletter or our website. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently this year in the spirit of continuing transparency and communication, and that means that the board and your executive team will hold a mid-year meeting on December 7th. This meeting is intended to inform the congregation about our governance and leadership priorities for the remainder of the church year. There is no voting. Please plan to attend. So we turn now to our congregational cares and concerns. I cannot go on without mentioning that there are so many of us among us and in our community who are continuing to be impacted by the fallout of the shutdown. So if you can care for your neighbors, care for members of our community here who may still need your help, please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. We do have some very good news to announce. Leah Krichevna and her husband, John Skolnick, welcomed baby boy Samuel Skolnick Krichevna, that is a mouthful, on Thursday, November 6th. Baby Samuel was a few weeks early, but everyone is doing great. Leah and John report that he's eating and sleeping and snuggling like a champ, and that's a quote. If you'll join me now in a moment of prayer. We are lovingly gathered in this community this morning. Each of us have walked through the doors of this church, either physically or virtually, carrying our personal joys and our sorrows for the world. We come, some seeking, some knowing that there is a greater love that surrounds us. We feel the hands of our ancestors at our backs. Issei's songs are still calling us to march forward in faith. Christiane is still reminding us that there are healing hands to hold. Matilda's threads are binding us, strengthening our bonds so that ours can be a community that stands firm for justice, undaunted, brave, and proud. We need them now. Because, beloveds, we've got work to do. This faith, our faith, Unitarian Universalism, is the antidote to the forces in the world that give no credence to the power of love. But we do. Spirit of life, we give thanks for every single soul gathered, for you are calling us, pushing us ever forward to be better people, to be part of this community strengthened by unwavering hope. We give thanks for calling us to love. Ashe and amen.
Amen. I want to start with the first part of a story I'll come back to later. Since we're a smaller, somewhat lesser known religion, most Unitarian Universalists are converts, but I am part of the subset raised in the Unitarian Universalist tradition. How many other lifers do we have out there? All right, give yourself a round of applause. My parents became UU in their 20s and are now among the oldest and longest tenure members of their church, my home congregation, the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I was active in the religious education program there throughout my childhood and held various roles in the youth group. In the worship service, celebrating graduating high school seniors, we all received a blue ceramic chalice, like this one. I eventually bought a second, so I could have one both at work and at home. And if you've been with me for an event somewhere here in the church, there's a good chance that I've brought that chalice in particular and lit it before a meeting. We'll come back to that story later. So my title for today's sermon, Faith Without Certainty, is on one hand clearly a reflection of the current times. So much is gone, under attack, or different. And in this environment, both faith and certainty are sometimes hard to find. Now, on the other hand, that phrase, faith without certainty, is the title of a book published by a Unitarian Universalist theologian 20 years ago. So this is not a new issue for us. Indeed, it's been a challenge in our faith for a few hundred years. People are drawn to Unitarian Universalism because we have rejected conservative theological certainty about God and damnation and human nature, and replaced it with a more humanistic, nuanced, and positive perspective. It's a perspective that recognizes individual conscience and individual agency, and for the most part, it works for us. But there are times when its limitations are revealed, and I think we're in one of those moments. I felt it personally, and so I decided to challenge myself. This past September, we had a spiritual mini-retreat here at the church, and it was intentionally set up as a more reflective space rather than training. And I'm a trainer by nature, so I wanted to challenge myself to do something more reflective. And so I decided to do a session on evil. Truly, my only regret is that I did not call it Rob's Evil Workshop. But there's always a next time, and we're planning to do this again, another mini retreat in January or February, so you might get Rob's Evil Workshop too. Anyhow, the research I did to prepare and the conversation at the retreat with 20 or so congregants was extremely helpful to me, and so I want to share some of that with you. Now, not everyone, but I am guessing that the vast majority of Unitarian Universalists reject the idea that evil is a supernatural force, like Satan or something like that. However, the events of the past year in our own country, in Ukraine and Gaza, have really called the question on how we do define it. It's not enough just to say how we don't. Because if we just stick with how we don't, I don't think it really captures the depth or scope of suffering that is happening. I mean, with disconcerting frequency, it really seems like there are so many people who actively delight in the suffering they are inflicting on others. And so I think we have to be honest about it. Some of what's happening in our city, in our nation, in our world is not just bad in an ordinary way, it is evil. And I don't think we need to define evil in a supernatural sense, but we do need a definition that is strong enough to hold what is happening, a definition that goes beyond just individualism or sort of an ordinary take on human systems. What really helped shift my perspective in the preparation for this workshop in September was a few lines written by Martin Luther King Jr., not when he was a reverend, but when he was in seminary in 1951. And these are some lines from a paper he wrote called Religion's Answer to the Problem of Evil. He says, there is the position that moral evils result from the misuse of human freedom. Certainly, this position has much weight and cannot be easily cast aside. Nevertheless, human freedom leaves many aspects of evil, even of moral evil, unexplained. And he references other aspects of the profound impact of evil and asks, can we really just attribute these to a person's own freedom, or even to all of human freedom put together? And here is the line that really stuck with me. He wrote, "This seems to be putting too much weight on the back of human freedom." This seems to be putting too much weight on the back of human freedom. Now, reading King's words at another time or with a different mindset, my response might have been theological or intellectual, but where it hit me a few months ago and still does was right in the heart, from a place of deep tenderness for myself, for you, for all of our allies in the struggle. Just an overwhelming sense that, wow, when we define evil as just purely about individual human behavior or systems, it really places a lot of burden on our shoulders. Too much, I think. And so here is where I have landed in my definition. I think it's accurate and helpful to recognize that evil has its own momentum. Yes, it is about systems and structures and things that can be measured, but it's also about a kind of mindset and worldview that has a spiritual quality to it. And I would say it's a spiritual sickness, because I don't think you can inflict that much harm and be spiritually well, even if you're telling yourself that it's right. It may have been created initially entirely by people, but evil now operates with its own strength and force. It is not an ordinary kind of bad that can be challenged with basic actions. It calls us, indeed, it requires us to tap into something that also has its own strength and force. And here's the good news. Love and liberation also have a momentum of their own. All the work we are doing to end oppression, to challenge evil in all of its forms, it has a strong precedent as well. Because throughout history, there have always been people who resisted authoritarian rulers, who chose love and care and courage, and we can too. Yesterday, a group of more than 30 people gathered to consider the strategic priorities of All Souls social justice work, and specifically our READ project for voting rights. And we talked about things like DC statehood, migrant solidarity, organizing around the DC primary elections next June, and more. But I want to highlight two things in particular. I asked another group of people last week to name some of the ways they thought All Souls was best responding to the moment. The first response, and a common one for so many people, including me, was using our building as a space for meetings, gatherings, trainings, relationships, spiritual renewal, and more. And so yesterday, a group of us talked about how to make that even more of a reality in terms of getting more volunteers to help host people with radical hospitality. Please let me know if you're interested in being part of that. We also talked about making plans for how the church could be prepared for a crisis. Because the truth is, we don't know what the future holds with this administration, other than it is going to be bad. There could very well be another version of a federal takeover at DC that is more draconian, that maybe eliminates our local government altogether. So even though we don't know exactly what will happen, we do know that it is better to be prepared than not. Another thing that we talked about yesterday, which is a continuing conversation, which is how can we respond to the increasing need of people, not just in the larger community, but in our own congregation who need direct support. Our Share the Plate collection this month is for the congregation's emergency fund. That is certainly meaningful, and requests are coming in, but it is not enough. So we're looking at how we can connect people by their neighborhoods or wards, using our geo-group system to have a process that is more sustainable and ongoing, that can be about helping people with a meal, rides to medical appointments, childcare support, or just a greater sense of connection and community. It is not rocket science, but it does require intention and structure. If you're interested in helping with that, please check supporting mutual aid in your neighborhood on our connection card. As Tracy mentioned, one other great way to help is our Thanksgiving collection, and I want to emphasize that you can start donating non-perishable items right now. And there are instructions in the email about how to do that without using Amazon this year. An underlying theme in all of this work and in organizing generally is that people need to claim the power that is theirs. Ultimately, yes, we need to have an impact nationally, but most of where the work gets done is hyper local and local. It's at the neighborhood level and the city level. Another theme from the conversation yesterday and last week is that a unique strength of All Souls' response is the spirit we bring to it. Our solidarity singers are a fantastic example. But I think it's also present in the way we host people in groups, the way we show up in the world, that we show up with a kind of spiritual energy. And I think at our best, it really is salubona. It is recognizing, and this is a definition from Loom International, I see the whole of you, your experiences, your passions, your pain, your strengths and weaknesses, your future. You are valuable to me. And Dr. Tate, who led that for the WIN group, said, Salubona is about a sacred trust of interconnection. A sacred trust of interconnection. And to me, that is exactly the kind of perspective and grounding we need to face evil. And not just to stop the bad stuff, but also to build what we want, to create beloved community. The way we get there, the mindset as well as the method, is about the sacred trust of interconnection. Now, part of both sacred trust and interconnection, is that recognizing that everyone needs to take a break sometimes. And so it is with me. I'm telling you now, and will email the entire congregation this week, that I will be taking a 4-month sabbatical from mid-February to mid-June of next year. I'm grateful for the support of Tracy and Reverend Anastasia and the board. I've been working at All Souls since 2016, and during that time, we have faced enormous challenges, unprecedented challenges in the world, enormous challenges and transitions here in the congregation, and I've been through some significant health challenges in my family as well. And so both of these things are true. I love my ministry here. I love this congregation. I love the work we do. I love you. I truly love you. And y'all, I need a break. So there'll be much more information coming about the sabbatical. But what I want to say now is that ministerial sabbaticals can be deeply helpful for congregations because they invite lay people to take a greater sense of ownership. And the reality is that the vast majority of the work that this congregation has done and is known for is work that you have done, not staff. And so you can do it again. This congregation has incredible depth of ridiculously talented, loving, caring, and committed people. And so we both at All Souls and broadly need to tap into our own momentum for organizing and political power, yes, but also for spiritual reasons. We need to tap into the collective value and potential of ourselves and our movement as a theological imperative that confronts evil. I want to close with the final part of the story I started at the beginning. A few years ago, my father was commissioned by the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg as a lay chaplain. It was a major event, and my whole family was there to witness and celebrate. I had worked it out with their director of religious education that when all the other children of that church left for their classes, my kids would stay to be present for the ceremony. And then after that, I would escort my kids downstairs. That meant that not only would my children be joining a group of 100% unfamiliar kids and adults, they would be doing it late. As I walked downstairs with them, I had a surprising level of concern, recognizing that, yes, I had a great time growing up in that congregation, but that wasn't their church. How would they be received? When we got there, it was children's chapel. The kids were sitting on the floor, listening to caring adults, just like here at All Souls. And on a low table at the front of the room, lit with a tea light, was a chalice just like this one. And so I knew, absolutely knew, that my kids would be fine. Because we were being held in a tradition of care and love. Not a single person in that situation, not the kids and the adults in the room, not my kids, not me, not any one of us had to rely on individuality alone. We were all tapping into the momentum that already existed. And so can we. Evil has its own momentum, yes, but so does love, so does liberation. We are part of a long legacy of faith and resistance that have figured out a way forward, and so shall we. Amen.
I draw your attention back to the connection card and this week's reflection question. How might you draw strength from our tradition? This is an intentionally broad question, and you can interpret it as our All Souls Sunday morning worship traditions or the broader UU social justice interpretation. It's strength from traditions your way. Please fill out both sides of the card. November's Share the Plate offering is for the All Souls Emergency Fund. From changes in federal staffing and contracts to the furlough and withholding of benefits like SNAP, we know that more and more people here at All Souls are in need of financial assistance. 50% of our non-pledge plate offering will go to our own emergency fund to help congregants pay for housing, utilities, food, or other critical needs. We invite you to give as generously as you can. And if you need assistance, please reach out to Reverend Rob Keithan. We have some funds available now. If you're in the sanctuary, the ushers will be passing the plate for your offering and connection card. This morning's offering will now be taken and gratefully received.
I'm going there to see my father. I'm going there.
Closing words are one of my favorites from Reverend Laura Lynn Bellamy. If here you have found freedom, take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another that they may come true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Go in peace.
We could be together now and forever. I love you. I love you. And when I'm praying, I hear him saying, I love you. I love you. People all over the world, they're opening up, they're coming around, and they're saying,